Imagine a world where alliances, rivalries, and a single act of violence could plunge the entire planet into one of the most catastrophic wars in history. This isn't fiction, but the stark reality of World War I, a conflict that forever changed the course of humanity. In the early summer of 1914, Europe enjoyed a period of relative peace and prosperity. However, beneath the surface, tensions simmered. Nationalism, militarism, and a complex web of alliances created a powder keg waiting to ignite. The spark came on June 28, when the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist. This single act set off a chain reaction, dragging country after country into a war of unprecedented scale. In the following weeks, the major powers of Europe declared war on each other. On one side, the Central Powers consisting of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. On the other, the Allied powers, primarily France, Russia, and Britain, later joined by Italy and the United States. The stage was set for a conflict that would span 4 long, brutal years. The early months of the war saw a rapid German advance through Belgium into France, halted at the Battle of the Marne in September. Both sides then dug in, marking the beginning of trench warfare, a horrifying and deadly stalemate that would characterize much of the Western Front. In the east, the war was less static but no less devastating. The Eastern Front saw massive battles, such as Tannenberg and the Masurian Lakes, in which the Germans inflicted heavy defeats on the Russian forces. Meanwhile, far from Europe, battles raged in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, truly making this a world war. The entry of the United States in 1917 tipped the balance in favor of the Allies. Fresh American troops and resources contributed to a series of successful offensives in the final year of the war. By the autumn of 1918, the Central Powers were in retreat. On November 11th, an armistice was signed, effectively ending the war. World War I was a conflict of many firsts. It was the first war to see large-scale use of tanks, airplanes, and chemical weapons. It was also the first war in which civilians were targeted on a large scale, both through direct attacks and through the devastating effects of a naval blockade on Germany, leading to widespread starvation. In summary, World War I was a devastating conflict that changed the world. It began with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and escalated due to a complex web of alliances, nationalism, and militarism. The war saw brutal trench warfare, massive battles, and the large-scale use of new military technology. The entry of the United States in 1917 ultimately tipped the balance in favor of the Allies, leading to the armistice in November 1918. The war had profound and lasting effects on the world, setting the stage for an even more destructive conflict just 2 decades later. This is a snapshot of World War I, a conflict that continues to shape our world today. The echoes of this war still reverberate, a poignant reminder of the consequences of nationalism, militarism, and alliances unchecked.